Girlfriend, I am so excited to be here with you today, and we are really going to get into something really juicy. We're going to talk about our divine feminine. And if you don't even know what that is, that's even more of a reason why you should watch and stick around, okay? See you on the other side. Hey there, Amy girl. I am so excited to have you here with us. And before we get into our divine feminine energy, we're going to get in your business, girl. We want you to tell us a little bit about you, who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them.
Thanks, Ingafay. It's an honor to be here. And my name is Amy. Hello. I am a multifaceted human who's in their next I like to say their second chapter, third chapter of life at this point. I'm a 20-year corporate executive turned entrepreneur, life coach, podcaster, still head of marketing. I'm still doing a lot of marketing work for especially women entrepreneurs and getting started. The marketing part comes easy to me. But really where I felt the call was when I was in the corporate space. I was starting to feel my own awakening. And what that was for me was I started to awaken to this energy that wasn't beholden to only order, structure, power, control, money, which is all I was used to in the corporate world. Because, and this is a high level energy overview, when we talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine, that is not specific to gender. Every human in this world and otherwise has all of these different types of energies within us. And if you think about the divine feminine energy, which again all humans have, that is the trust, the flow, the creation. And the divine masculine, which again all humans have, which is the order, the structure, the action. So when they're paired beautifully together, you have this beautiful divine feminine energy that is trusting and flowing and creating, and then matched with the divine masculine, which is the structure to then release it out into the world. When you're in either one only, that can become problematic in and of itself, because being extreme on either in any energy keeps you limited to what your full potential is. So you can imagine who I serve is, long story short, is I am a rare unicorn in this world that understands spirituality. I understand framework of current day, modern day coaching, which is different from therapy and different from mentoring. Excuse me.
Right.
And I have the business world to boot of that 20 years in a Fortune 200 kind of environment. And my divine feminine was calling me to step into that world of being on the front lines of humanitarianism through guiding others to step into what feels good for them. And what that means is who I serve is primarily women who are starting to awaken to their divinity, and we're still being asked to operate in a world that really, by and large, especially in the mainstream society or the 9-to-5 workplace, that is actually skewed in the masculine, that has become toxic.
Right.
Because it only feels safe in the power, the money, the structure, the control, the power over another person. So what I came to realize after 20 years in the corporate space was I was the common denominator. Of course I was. I did not flourish. It was not a good fit for me to be told to copy paste into this world that I didn't feel was a match for my true nature. So after 20 years, I said, today's my last day. And I opened Unlock the Magic, my business, which is the space in which I guide you, I coach you to not only step into what's calling you, but to trust it with an ironclad nature so that you can stand flat-footed in your magic, in your power, in your unique brilliance that only you have. Now, only you can do what you can do, how you do it. Only you can do that.
Cool. So I'm curious, how did you come to realize or really become aware of this divine feminine and divine masculine? Was it a course you took? Was it just Like you had told me initially, the awakening of it, or
So
I mean, what
many of my
happened?
clients right now, they're like, can you just give me a book to read or a class to take? I was like, nice try. And the answer is like, probably. There's a million courses and a million books that I could recommend on spirituality or the divine feminine or what that is for me. And this is what it was 3:33. Hey spirit guides, what's up? So for me, this is part of the larger conversation about, we're all told as entrepreneurs, niche down, figure out who your audience is, and be direct toward that. For me, it's a yes, but and. Coming from 20 years in corporate marketing, I get that. Believe me, I understand, especially the trope of if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. I think that's both true and
Right.
false. I don't know. We could go all day about talking about historical and current day marketing. However, we're coming out of a 20-year energetic cycle, and this is getting a little bit astrological, but I won't go too far into it. A 20-year cycle in which, from a generational perspective, intergenerationally, we have been operating in what we were taught from 100 years ago, where I'll talk about like from the workplace perspective, we were taught to be one kind of thing. And it's more of like that copy paste culture. And it was really determined by, if we go back to the 100-year mark, like around the industrial age, I'll talk about the US. It was built for, frankly, mid-aged white men to train other white men to benefit other white men. And it was by virtue of like all that was coming in again to the industrial age, back to Ford, the way that the workplace looked like, it was based around the industrial age. So that is specifically in the masculine energy. I got to get something done so that we can make money, and to be able to make more money. And it became a tailspin, or like a more perpetuation of only being in the masculine energy of the doing. So there is this larger energetic cycle that we are breaking out of, which is the last 20 years of, again, all humanity, but many humans starting to feel that that's not quite in line with what is calling them on the soul or divine level. So it's maybe what people talk about, their higher purpose, or their, the 9 to 5 doesn't necessarily feel aligned with what feels good to them anymore. And they don't know why. So when I talk about the divine feminine awakening, it's happening on an energetic level to all humans right now. We're ushering back in the divine feminine, again, of the trust, the flow, and the creation, not only caring about the output, but the who and the how and the human, the care, the humanity portion of it. That has been exiled for thousands of years, because we've only been geared toward, and again, I'll talk about myself. Like, I was expected to go to school, get a job, make as much money as I can, and retire to Florida, whatever. We all kind of had like a map for how we do life. And again, that was more of the copy paste culture from masculine, of like, there's an order, right? There's an order and a structure to life. The divine feminine is asking us to come in and say, well, yeah, sure, there's an order and structure, and a lot of us like routine. Absolutely. As humans, we like that. And how could we trust that by developing in us the true essence, and not simply acting upon what others have told us or others have put upon us, but what is our true essence, our true nature of how we would show up in life? Can there be both? And that is the balance that I feel women especially are being asked to create in this lifetime that we've never seen. We've only seen historically the skewed and the masculine, again, the doing, the order, the structure. That has become the only thing that a lot of mainstream society cares about, and that's what starts to feel bad inside. For me personally, that's what, when you ask like what happened, that's what started to happen for me about 6 or 7 years ago. I was really kind of at the top of my game, working a lot and doing a lot of output. So, and my output is what was being rewarded. I was told when I would set forth a team building or like rally around my team, my direct reports, I was being too mama bear. I was being too caring. We don't have time for that. That's what I'm starting to suggest starts to feel, for me personally, started to feel not good because I genuinely cared about my people. My first priority was that
Right.
they were okay, especially because I led a team over pandemic. That my first priority was, are you okay? How's your heart? What's your day look like? We're going to get to the work. Absolutely. It's it's the balance. It's not just caring about one or the other. So
Right.
we've been skewed in the masculine for a long time. And the awakening, from what I understand and I know to be true, is that the reason so many people, not just women, but a lot of people, are maybe opting out of the average 9-to-5 workplace or starting their own gig or shifting careers or doing a pivot. It's always been this. People will call it maybe like a midlife crisis. Call it a midlife
Yeah.
thriving because it's a moment where humans, there's like so many things happening at once. So many people are hitting that moment, especially after pandemic. They created a balance for themselves that worked really well for themselves and those that they care about during pandemic, only to be thrust back into the toxic masculine after pandemic. And they don't want that. They want more of a balance. They want to care about their humanity and their well-being, and they want to get stuff done. It gets to be both. So my awakening happened through educating myself, tapping back into my unique brilliance. I've always been, you could maybe call it empath. I call it more, it's like more than that, clairsentient. I genuinely feel someone's energy. And what helps me in my coaching, what guides me in my coaching practice is that with my clients, we are building that sacred space, and your energy is telling me where to go. The places where your ego has stopped you in the past, because again, we are conditioned and programmed to only care about kind of one subset of day-to-day life. And it's introducing the balance and giving that space to explore without having to uproot everything all at once, like I did, by the way. So
Yeah, but the thing about it is you took action, and oftentimes I see so many women sitting on their hands, doing a lot of what if thinking. I'm not sure if something's going to work out, but when you take action, that's when you really see the path to where you want to go. So, kudos to you for taking action. Now, granted, you just said you were done. You just made that line in the sand rather quickly, and some of us probably wouldn't have done it that way. But at the end of the day, I think you are where you were meant to be. I'll say it that way. As a result of that, and you, from what I can see, you seem happier. It just based on what you said, I don't know, when you talk about it, it's almost like I think about a monster and they're just kind of rolling along and it's just like, oh.
Have you seen the movie Soul? Okay.
No.
Well, I won't ruin it for you, but there is this like mind-blowing moment in the movie Soul by Pixar that it is exactly what I just described. Like, there's this beautiful, unique, brilliant, true essence soul, and in the movie there's this depiction of like all of this layering and conditioning, programming and training and indoctrinating and everything, and all of this trauma that gets placed on top of this beautiful soul. And it is this monster, kind of this monster moving, kind of mumbling around and lost. And anyway, for those of you seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And Ingafay, I would love your thoughts if you watch it.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
It is that. And what's hard is that, like, I think especially as women, we get branded as like, well, get out of your own way. I'm not in my own way. Oh my gosh. Like, I tell so many women, it's like, is it that we are doing something to ourselves, or is it that the conditioning and the systems that are in place in mainstream society, still rooted in white supremacy, patriarchy, colonialism, capitalism, that keep us small, that keep us in the fear? And no matter how it lands for anyone, I just don't want anyone, especially women, to feel that it's their fault. That felt heavy. We ache so much to tap back into our unique brilliance, and still told that's not safe to do that. So we keep it locked in. And so
Yeah.
that's why I say, like, yes, I don't recommend anyone just say, like, today's my last day, like I did. That's why like when we build that sacred space together, we're exploring your edges so that we can say, like, when there's something that shoots up and says, whoop, nope, we're like, what is that? Ooh, what is that? And why is she here? She's keeping us safe.
Right.
Welcome. We love you. And we start to work through what that kind of flag on the field is.
Cool. Well, I know I was asking you earlier, and I would love you to tell the audience, when you think about the people that you work with, are they mostly corporate folks, or are they entrepreneurs? Are they corporate wanting to transition, or back, or they're entrepreneurs wanting to go back to being an employee? Tell us a little bit about that.
It is all of the above. So all of my clients right now, actually the bulk of them, I would say, are in corporate. And the first thing someone will say to me when they're like, I think I want to work with a coach. I like your vibe. Tell me more. I always say, okay, it tends to be kind of three camps. One, they want to stay in corporate. They like the benefits. They like the money. They like the the perks that serve like the 3D physical self, of course. But also, they are getting that call. I'll describe it as like someone's ringing your doorbell, and you're like, "What is that?" And they don't know. They're like, I'm being called for more, and I have no idea where it is coming from. I don't know what it is. I'm just getting this call. Great. That's one big part. They're like, I want to stay put for the livelihood and the well-being of my lifestyle. Awesome. I don't suggest everyone just like launch from corporate. It depends on you. So that's one camp. They want to stay put, but they also want to start doing some exploring. The next camp I would say is, I'm in a toxic workplace. I don't feel good. I'm feeling really down. It's just, but I don't want to lose my livelihood. So we start looking at, is there something within the organization that you can move through to, like move to another team, or are there boundaries that we can put in place? And like, is there some work there that we can do so that you don't take on as much as yours because of the way someone else is acting in the workplace? That's kind of the second tier, and that bleeds over into the work that I do with workplace psychological safety. And then lastly, there's that master alarm. Someone's coming to me, they're like, everything is really bad, nothing feels good, and they're likely in therapy because they're working through some trauma, and I work with them to create an exit plan, to figure out, okay, it's an emergency. And I have a program called Flamethrower, and it is a 1-month intensive where we work up to 3 times a week so that we can start really working toward that exit plan, and you feel comfortable that it's covered not only your internal energy and like that, like what they are trying to do, but also matches what your external life, what you require, or to maintain what it takes to be you. So that's what I would say, the 3 different kind of camps. I do work with entrepreneurs, especially, it's called like Coach the Coach. The same way that all doctors have a doctor, every coach has a coach. Okay. For those of us who coach, we know how incredible the work is. And we still are doing our own work of healing, of working through our own journey. So to answer your question, it's the bulk of my clients right now are women in corporate, and they are in various stages. Some want to exit and start their own business. Some want to stay put, but also develop this, their feminine energy and like what that looks like in the workplace, and how to bring it in without like sounding the alarms of the toxic masculine. Because by the way, we see the toxic masculine rear their heads a lot. That's when somebody is feeling threatened, and they'll come back at you when you're trying to bring in more of a divine feminine approach. And so it's allowing in, regardless of any camp you're in, it's allowing in the call from within that may not feel good from day to day, and you might not even know who or what it is. We start exploring.
Right. And the key word to that, and what you just said, is that you start. Yes, we take action. We don't sit on our hands, which is what I absolutely love. So I'm curious when it comes to um, after they've made this transition, can you tell us some of the things that have happened after they have worked with you and made the transition to do whatever the three groups that are in that next step for them?
Absolutely. So, and it's so, I mean, this as a coach, like it's so unique to every individual. But a few successes is that we've realized that the day job is actually something that she didn't want to be doing. So, moved her into a role, got her a role into another part of the organization that she's thriving in, and she's happy and she feels content. And she's now starting to feel, when you start to feel good about how you spend the majority of your time, which is work, when you start to feel good about that, you start to feel amazing in other parts of your life. You don't feel like chasing toward the weekend or away from the work week. Like you're kind of like at a homeostasis. You're like content. A big part of where I have found women thrive in is feeling content while moving forward. That's where the magic starts to happen. So to build upon that, a few clients have gone into another team and they're thriving and they're feeling amazing, and they're starting to pull on the threads within their life outside of work as well, which feels really good for them. There's been a few that have built out a plan to actually leave and start their own business, and that is starting to happen in 25. They're actually in the thick of the plan of building up toward that business launch, which feels really good to them. And then there's also some that have pulled back from and maybe gone part-time or done something completely pivoting away and started something completely different from what they were doing before, but allowing themselves to explore that while, because before working with me, we're often told by ourselves or by other people, you couldn't possibly do that. You have bills to pay. You couldn't possibly. Well, I bring you to a place where you could possibly and be able to maintain all that's important around you. You don't have to give anything up when you're unlocking your magic. You just need the permission for yourself to allow the consideration that you could possibly. So, and again, once you start to explore what that could be, you start to trust yourself. That's one of the biggest things I've found as a common thread through everyone I work with and serve is there has not been enough space to trust their unique thought. They've been told.
I love it.
So we start to work within that energy. That's a big part of me as energy is my modality. So when someone says something that they're feeling, we go in it. I'm like, where do you feel that in your physical body? We go into the chakra energy centers. We start to balance. We start to really feel. And then to the point where by the end of working with me, they trust themselves with everything that they have. And that is what bolsters anything as a go forward when it's questioned from either a past version of themselves or anything outside of themselves. They are ironclad in that trusting of their unique thought.
That is cool. Yeah, I think that's really powerful to be able to trust yourself, because I think that's oftentimes why people don't want to step out of their comfort zone, because they're afraid that they won't do what they're supposed to do.
We weren't taught to trust ourselves. We weren't. We were taught.
Yeah, we were taught to have confirmation from everybody else, that we had to confirm we had to get confirmation outside of ourselves. So that's powerful. That is so powerful. So for those that want to connect with you, what kind of freebies or what kind of goodies do you have?
I joked with Ingafay. I told her, I said, my website is amazing. It's a starter. It was unlockthemagic.org. It was, my website has been such a love journey over the past year and a half of being in business. It's currently being redesigned. So I share that because it looks a little bit like a MySpace vibe right now for those of us who were around long, to know what MySpace is, but it's being redesigned. And the good news is once my new site is launched in about a month, there will be, the freebie is a chakra energy quiz. If you're new to chakras, there are actually over 100 in our energy field, but I talk more about the main 7 in our physical body. You'll be able to take that quiz and find out whether you have any opened or closed or balanced or imbalanced chakra energies. So come back, visit in about a month, and we'll have that up.
Okay, well, I'm going to get that. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm definitely going to get that quiz. So you guys see it here on the screen. We're going to put it down in the description. So make sure that you click the link and get information to connect with Amy. Amy, thank you so much, girl, for sharing your wisdom. I've been just uplifted by the fact that you were here. I don't know about anybody else, but I hope you guys felt the same way. And if you know of anyone you would like me to interview in the future, by all means, send me a DM. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.